I wonder where he is this time. It looks like he's in the southeast, in Florida.
Dear Alicia, the sun has been shining ever since I got to Florida. I've walked for miles and miles on the wide beaches, flying kites and picking up cool seashells. The snorkeling is great. The water's warm and you can see incredible sunken shipwrecks and schools of fish with amazing colors.
Not only is there some great snorkeling, but you can also water ski, sail, fish, and body surf. There's water everywhere in the state of Florida.
Florida is located on a peninsula. A peninsula is an area of land that is almost entirely surrounded by water. The Atlantic Ocean is on its eastern border, and the Gulf of Mexico is on its western border. To the south, the Straits of Florida is the passage that connects the two bigger bodies of water. The state of Florida is located in the southeast region of the United States. Alabama and Georgia border Florida to the north.
The northwestern part of Florida is called the Panhandle because it's shaped a little like the handle of a frying pan.
Florida is largely made up of areas of flat land, called plains. The Atlantic Coastal Plain lies along the eastern side of Florida. The Gulf Coastal Plain covers much of the western part of Florida. The highest land in the state is found in north-central Florida, and it's called the Florida Uplands.
Alicia, I'm writing this to you from the oldest continually lived-in city in the United States, St. Augustine. I visited the Spanish Quarter and I saw the oldest stone fort in the U.S., Castillo de San Marco. The Spanish built some things to last para siempre, you know, forever. I wonder if they were the first people to live here.
Let's see. Long before the Spanish arrived, several groups of Native Americans, such as the Seminole and the Calusa, lived in Florida. They fished and hunted, and they also farmed, especially corn. Have you noticed the interesting names of some of the cities as you've been traveling through Florida?
Several of Florida's city names come from Native American words. For example, the capital city's name, Tallahassee, comes from a Muskogee word meaning old town.
Hoping to discover gold, the Spanish were the first Europeans to arrive in Florida. Explorers led by Juan Ponce de Leon landed on the Atlantic coast in 1513. Ponce de Leon is credited with giving the state its name, La Florida.
Hey, La Florida! That's like saying full of flowers.
From the earliest European presence in Florida, a long game of tug-of-war began among the countries that wanted to claim it for their own. Though the Spanish were the first to arrive in Florida, the French also built a fort there soon after. Eventually, the Spanish drove out the French. 200 years later, the British took control of Florida and ruled for about 20 years, until the end of the American Revolutionary War. At that time, control of the land went back to Spain, but Spain only governed for less than 40 years. Finally, the U.S. bought the land from Spain. In 1845, Florida became the 27th state. In 1861, Florida seceded from the U.S. and joined the Confederate States of America with other southern states. When the American Civil War ended in 1865, Florida was back in the United States.
Whoa, that's a long game of tug-of-war.
And just think, it all started as a search for gold.
The early Spanish settlers never did find gold in Florida, but eventually people found other ways to make money. The economy is the system of how people make, spend, or save money. Florida's economy has several industries. An industry is a group of businesses that provide a type of service or make a certain kind of product. One of Florida's